how to apply Krishna consciousness.
Knowledge. How to apply what we hear practically in our life.
What we hear in Krishna consciousness practically in our life. So we can look at this in a similar way to a mother is raising a child, giving a kind of a broad spectrum. A mother has a child, there's some love. There's a natural love that the mother has for the child. And that love, you could say, it's born partly because of the fact that the child came from the mother's body, partly because biological, there may be some affinity. Then there's other factors also. She has affection for the child partly because she likes to do it. She likes to take care. It's a natural inclination to take care of and raise someone, especially someone who's coming from the body, from your body then. But there's also a duty. There's certain responsibilities that she's aware of. It's a duty because it's not always pleasant. There are some times when it becomes a challenge to take care of the child in the middle of the night when one wants to get some sleep, but the child needs care. So there's duty, there's responsibility, as well as all these other aspects. So applying what we hear in Krishna consciousness in our practical lives has the same types of features. We all have some love, some natural love towards Krishna. And when we come into contact with others who have love for Krishna, our love for Krishna comes out. It's like when the baby comes out, then that's when, of course, even before the baby comes out, the love is there. Mother's thinking how to protect the child from different dangers that are there in the womb. So as soon as the mother comes in contact with the child, there is that principle of love. Similarly, as soon as the living entity, the Atma, comes in contact with Krishna in some way or other, whether it's through his devotees or through his name or through hearing about him, some love will be evoked. But in addition to that, there's also logic, for example. It's also logical it's logical that the mother should take care of the child, otherwise the child will not be able to survive. It's logical that we take care of offspring so that we can maintain our species and carry on our family, our tradition, our dynasty, whatever. So many things we can think of. But Krishna consciousness is the same thing, that it's also quite logical for us to be in relationship with Krishna, because his position is that he is in relationship with all of us as the Father, or as the provider, the master, the friend, the protector. There's other relationships also on higher levels. But these relationships are there. Another aspect is that we have responsibilities. In other words, he's being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being the controller, Ishvara, Parama Krishna. We are under his control, or we're supposed to be. So we have a responsibility to do what he tells us to do. Just like if you work in a company, and the head of the company, he's the controller, or the owner, and he's supplying your necessities, but he expects you to do what he says. And if you don't, then there's problems in the relationship. So Krishna is the controller, and he wants the parts and parcels to accept that. And he says it quite clearly in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhavamad bhakto majjaji man namaskuru mame vaishasi yuktvavam atmanam matpanayana. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer homage unto me, and thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So, if we want to be effective in practicing, in putting into practice what we hear, then we need to employ all these different aspects to help us put them into practice. In other words, love, there's some attraction, there's some responsibilities we have, some duties we have, some logical reasons why we should do it. Many different aspects. Another aspect is that it's good for us. If we don't do it, then it's like it's healthy. Putting Krishna conscious teachings into practice is very healthy. From the cuisine, from the food that Krishna consciousness delivers to us, to the lifestyle, to the cleanliness, to the habits, to the way of thinking, to the way we interact with others, to the way we... It's like tonight we were coming here, and we were talking about the earth and how there's so many... Florida is expanding, getting more and more houses, people living, and we said that if more and more people come, then it may become too heavy and the earth may sink. And then that reminded us of statements from the Bhagavatam. personified, Bhumi, she makes her statement that she can bear huge mountains weighing so much, but she can't bear the weight of a liar. So, Satyam, there's so many nice principles that Krishna Consciousness teaches us that are healthy for us, and not only healthy physically, but healthy mentally. That's a very good reason to apply Krishna Conscious principles so we don't go insane. Without applying Krishna Consciousness principles, there's a very good opportunity to go insane. Because it's a pretty insane world out there. So that may be forced. It's like another reason a mother takes care of a child is if she doesn't, she'll be punished. She's forced. It's against the law for her not to take care of her child. She can be punished. And there may be fear also if she doesn't take care of the child. Her husband may become angry with her. Her neighbors, her relatives. I mean, there's so many reasons. So even force is not a bad reason for applying Krishna Conscious principles in our life. We can approach it from many different angles, and we should. The more angles we approach it from and see how Krishna Consciousness is practical, then the more we will be able to put it into practice effectively. Because it makes sense. You know, we need to understand why it makes sense. What's good about it? And what's bad about not doing it? Both things, from the positive side, from the negative side, from this side, this side. We have to be very thoughtful. Because the material energy is trying to impose on us thoughtlessness about spiritual things. Instead, the material energy is trying to engage us in thinking about everything else but self-realization. The material energy is giving us millions and millions of diversions. Go here, taste this, smell this, hear this, touch this, feel that. Contemplate this, go here, go there. Eat this, taste that. Play this, play that, watch this. It just goes on and on. And there's no end. Even the news, you might have thought that the news was just kind of like, well, it's, just kind of a thing you hear for a few minutes a day and you find out the main news. But no, the material energy wants you to be absorbed in knowing everything that's going on the planet. You have to know which earthquakes are happening in which place, which floods are happening in which place, what the temperature is in every part of the world. You need to know that. It's very important for you. At least they tell us that. They try to convince us that we need to know, what the political climate is in this place and that place, what football team won this game. We even quiz each other. Do you know who won the game last week? We have to quiz each other to make sure that we're all up on the latest. So, without Krishna consciousness, the chances of being submerged in the material energy are very great. We will be submerged. We will be dunked. And we will be held down by the currents the undertow of material existence. And we will not be able to get out. So there's some force also, there's lots of practical reasons. You should be able to write a nice essay. In fact, you should make a dissertation. You should be able to write a dissertation on all the reasons why Krishna consciousness is practical and important. Now, if you're new to Krishna consciousness, then you may not be able to write such a dissertation. But at least you should be gathering nuggets, valuable nuggets of information, and you'll be gradually getting some experience by your own practice. In other words, by practicing Krishna consciousness, it also makes so much sense that your realizations will be coming daily. Not only every day, but all throughout the day and night. You should be getting fresh realizations every day why Krishna consciousness is so wonderful, is so practical. And that will encourage you to keep going. Even when there are obstacles, challenges. Because you're getting more and more realizations. Just like when you see your child grow. What happens when you see your child's teeth come in? I think the mothers become quite excited, is it not? Yes. When they see when the child first walks, I think the parents become quite excited. When the child says the first words, the parents become quite enlivened by all these. These are milestones, these are stages, and the parents they take great pride, and they tell all the relatives on Twitter or something that my child took his first step today, and this is the third birthday. So we have holidays in our family affairs, isn't it? Birthday is a holiday, walking is a holiday, teeth coming in is a holiday, teeth going out is a holiday, Christmas is a holiday, going to home run, the list goes on and on. Then going to school first, that's a holiday, then graduating, that's another holiday. So we also have holidays in Krishna consciousness. We have Janmashtami, we have Ekadashi, we have Ram Vijay, we have so many different holidays, different incarnations of the Lord, Ram Navami, and we have Diwali, and we have Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, and we have Guru Puja, the appearance day of the spiritual master. So many holidays we perform. We have Kartik ceremony, we have Damodar, the month of Damodar, where we especially give our worship we give our attention to baby Krishna and his Damodar feature. And just like parents, they love to take their child on excursions, take the child to the beach, take the child to the snow, take the child to the water, take the child to different places, to the amusement park. So similarly, there's excursions in Krishna consciousness. So these excursions, just as parents that you see, if you're close to Orlando, parents from all different places bring their children to Disney World and all these places. They want to give the children some enjoyment, and they also get some enjoyment, and their enjoyment is enhanced by seeing their children getting enjoyment. So another aspect of practicality of Krishna consciousness is giving it to others. Taking it, practicing it ourselves, and then giving it to others and seeing them take it up. And seeing them grow in their Krishna consciousness. That gives us pleasure. And that reinforces our own conviction that this is something worthwhile, because look how nice it is, how much they've benefited by taking Krishna consciousness. And the more we benefit from Krishna consciousness, the more we're capable of helping others in their Krishna consciousness. So in this way, there's unlimited approaches. And the more we explore those unlimited approaches to the wonderfulness of Krishna consciousness, the more fixed up we'll be. Then Maya won't be able to push us away. Maya won't be able to allure us by all of her offerings. And we need to really explore Krishna consciousness. For example, eating. We all eat every day. So, Krishna consciousness has the most wonderful food for many reasons. One is because Krishna has very good taste. Krishna likes to eat very nice foods. Therefore, he requests and orders his devotees to cook and prepare very nice foods for him. And he has a mystical way of eating. He eats the food, but it doesn't disappear. He eats the food and it remains, and it becomes his mercy. So he's eaten it, and then it remains, and it becomes his mercy, prasad. And anyone who gets to eat that food not only gets very delicious food, but it becomes thousands of times more delicious because Krishna has eaten it himself. He makes it more delicious because it comes in contact with him, and he's the reservoir of all taste, of all fragrance. Rasoham apsakonta, punyagandham pratibhyam cha. I am the original fragrance of the earth. The fragrances come from him, the tastes come from him. So when things that come from him are again offered to him, then they become enhanced millions-fold. So no other food can actually compare to prasadam. Even if it's prepared by master chef with very expensive ingredients, because it's not offered to Krishna, it won't have the same taste. You can't really enjoy it. It's like if someone tells you, I like you very much, and I want to give you a nice gift. And you say, really, a gift? That's so kind of you. Yes, here, and it's a very expensive gift. It's worth about $18,000. I'm going to give you this bracelet. It's worth $18,000 here. And you go, well, thank you. That's so nice of you. And he said, I'm going to give you some more gifts. I'm going to give you a necklace. This necklace is diamonds. It's worth $72,000. What? 72? Yes, here, put it on. And you say, I can't thank you enough. He said, yes, it's okay, I stole them. But you can have them. Enjoy them. Well, that spoils everything. I was thinking that I was going to be able to go and impress my friends at the next party. You know, they would say, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "Well, my husband," or something like that. But now, you're telling me it's stolen. I've lost all my taste for it. I can't enjoy it at all. In fact, I don't even want to wear it. In fact, here, take it back. I don't want to even have it on my person because I may get in trouble for it. People may think I stole it. So that the fact that something is stolen ruins the ability to enjoy it for a sane, ordinary, or honest person. So in the same way, eating food that's not offered to Krishna is like that. It's trying to enjoy something that's illegal. It's illegal contraband that we're trying to consume. And now, someone may say, well, I never thought of it that way. No, there's many things we haven't thought of before we come in contact with Krishna consciousness. This is one of them. This is one of the big ones. Because eating is such an important part of our lives and it's so difficult to control the tongue. So therefore Krishna provides very delicious prasadam, spiritual food, to help us control our tongue. And it's practical. Once you become accustomed to taking prasadam, then you won't be interested in eating other things. Similarly, once you become accustomed. So habit is another thing. Habit is a very important way to apply Krishna consciousness. Use habit. Once you become habituated to it, it's like, now I've been engaging in Krishna consciousness for so many years. When I think, well, maybe I should give it up, I think, well, it's too difficult to give it up now. I'm already habituated to it. If I give it up now, what am I going to do? I have to learn something new trade, get a new job. I have to learn new language. I have to learn all what's going on in the world, materially, because I'm not up on all the things. So, habit, they say, is second nature. So our original nature is to be Krishna conscious, and habit is second nature, so we can use habit to help us to go back to our original nature, because habits are second nature. Okay, so now we'll open it up for questions. You can ask any questions you like, and we're going to serve prasadam in a few minutes. And you can even ask questions right while we're taking prasadam. Isn't that the plan?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Who would like to begin?
I would like to. Thank you very much for practical tips and reasons of why we should apply Krishna consciousness. But what will be the first and foremost reason? Is it that we are not these bodies, or is that we are expanding our centers of love without keeping Krishna in center, or is it because of duties? Can you please elaborate on the first and foremost reason why we should make it practical?
Well, that's why I covered so many different aspects, because for different people, they will find that different aspects are most applicable to them. For example, in some cases, let's say someone's born in a family of Krishna conscious devotees. Well, then for them, the most incumbent principle or reason for them is because their parents tell them to do it. So, there's different reasons and different ways to approach Krishna consciousness. It may be I may be taught by my parents, I may, my friends, or for social reasons. I may like the people, the Hare Krishna people, more than I like other people to associate with. I may like the habits, I may like the lifestyle. There are many people who are inclined towards more sattvic things, mode of goodness. So they may be attracted to Krishna consciousness because it's sattvic. The foodstuffs and are clean, or as you say, someone may be attracted to the philosophy. Not everyone's attracted to the philosophy. Some people may be attracted to the beauty, the beautiful paintings, the beautiful art, the architecture, the temples, or to the ambience of the worship, the music, the chanting. They may get a certain kind of excitement and exhilaration from the chanting. They might get peace of mind from the chanting. Or some people may be attracted by just how practical it is, how the philosophy seems to make sense.
Maharaj, so this is again knowledge, right? So this is again inspiration. These are all reasons. But when we come to the practical life, I can speak for my friends who are all IT and working hard. The practical thing is it's hard to balance right now the time between the job, between the family, so what are these practical adjustments that one may have to make to, once they are convinced, to apply this knowledge in reality in life? What is the first step that one has to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm speaking. That somehow or other you have to figure out whatever you think is the first step. In other words, what about Krishna consciousness is practical? Make a list. That's what I would do. If you want to approach this, make a list of all the things that are practical about that you can think of that are practical about Krishna consciousness. The more points you have on your list, and the more sub-points you can make, you know what will happen? Then automatically you'll want to apply it. Because you'll realize how practical it is. But if you don't think it's practical, if you don't think about it, see, this will help you think about, this is a great exercise. That's why in school they make you write essays, write a report, tell us what you've learned, tell us what you've understood. And if we don't do that, then it may go in one ear and out the other. We may not think about it. Imagine if there were no exams and no tests in school. Teacher never asked you any questions. You never had to show that you learned anything. What do you think most of the students would do? Yeah, they probably wouldn't be very attentive to the studies. So this exercise of elaborating what are the practical points. The more you elaborate them, the more you'll be conscious, and you'll be conscious of Krishna. Because it's practical. We could ask each person here, what do you find practical about Krishna consciousness? And you'd find many wonderful answers here.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yes?
Maharaj, like, you understand that this, once you analyze, it looks practical, but you may think because of the situation, you may think, okay, I will not do it now, I'll not apply it now, I'll apply it at later point in my life, when kids grow up, when they go to college, when I have more time, then I will incorporate into my lifestyle.
Okay, I got one question for you. What happens if you don't live that long? That's a possibility.
I think nobody thinks about that.
Yes, nobody thinks about it, but
Everyone wants to enjoy their present.
yeah. Everybody wants to overlook that part. And another thing is, when you reach that stage when the children are, you said, in college, right, and you have more time,
Yeah.
then you have to make several $1 million.
To pay for.
Well, because that's the age. See, now you've raised the children. You couldn't make so much money because you were just getting started and, getting yourself situated and then getting them through school. Now that they're going through college, now's your chance to be the CEO and make, millions of dollars and defeat all the other CEOs.
But CEO never works.
So,
But CEO never works. They just sit on the chair.
they work trying to get out of anxiety.
Yeah.
So, in other words, when you're that age, you'll have other things to do that will distract. And another thing is that when you wait till you're 45 or 50, you know what happens? You know what happens? Please begin. Okay, it's hot now. Prasadam is meant to be taken when it's served, so please begin. You want to say the prayer?
Please, if you can.
Please repeat. Sharira avidyaja Jodendriya taheka Jive pele vishaya sagore Dharmadye jivayati Lobhamoy sudurmati Takejeta katina sangsare Krishna Baradoya Moy Kori Bada Jiva Joy Saprashad Anudilo Bhai Sayanam Rita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagao Pramedeko Chaitanya Nitai Shri Shri Gauritai Bhagavat Prasad Ki Jai. One devotee asked Prabhupada what his favorite song was. He said, Hari Hari Bifale. It's a very beautiful song. But sometimes people ask me what my favorite song is. One of my favorite songs is this Sharira Vidyajala song that we sing before we take prasadam. It's a very happy song. Right after you say it, you get to take prasadam. Or you sing it. So, I was telling you what the problem is if you wait till you're 45 or 50, when the kids are grown up. Bamboo. When bamboo is young and green, it's easy to bend it. And when it gets old and yellow, if you try to bend it, it cracks, breaks. So, trying to take up something new, what do they say? There's a saying, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. Have you ever noticed that? If you take an old dog and you say, okay, now he doesn't know how to shake hands, and you say, okay, shake hands. He just looks at you.
Catch the ball.
Catch the ball. He can't do any of it. He can't. He's too old. But if you take a little dog, a young dog, you say shake hands. He learns in a few seconds.
Very good.
Can you make some pasta?
Pasta.
More questions. Actually, whatever you are telling practical, very impractical, because you have to get up in the morning, because we sleep very late, go to the completely ruled out getting up in the morning. We don't have time. Before we start eating, we don't have time to say the prayer. We just want to eat. Move on to the next thing.
Yes, but yeah,
Like that.
a great question. But the answer is that once you taste the practicality of getting up early, once you taste the practicality of saying the prayers, once you taste the practicality of chanting Hare Krishna, then you won't want to go back to it. You won't want to go back to the so-called practical life of the material world. Because you'll realize that actually Krishna consciousness in every sphere is more practical. It doesn't tally with the material mind because this is a spiritual knowledge. So if you try to figure it out materially, it doesn't work. You have to get some spiritual mercy to be able to realize this. And when you get the spiritual mercy, you'll realize that it's all completely practical. And that it should be given top priority in life. Not second, not third, not fourth, not fifth, not 10th, but first. First priority. In other words, if you learn that the whole point of being in this world is to get out of this world, we're here because we wanted to get out of the spiritual world. Now we're here, but this is not a good place to be. So the goal is to get out, back to the spiritual world. When you know that, and it makes sense to you, then it changes your whole priority list. Yes, sir.
I was just asking, whatever you were saying, after habit, after practice, one may hesitate to do that. I mean, related to the same question, but in the beginning stage, initially, if we understand the meaning of the prayer, and we do that to God, to Krishna, before eating food, then that should suffice the need. Because whatever we are telling should be a prayer, we can say that in our own language. So that
This body is a lump of ignorance. And the senses are a network of paths leading to death. And of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and difficult to control. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But Krishna is so kind, he has given us this very nice prasadam. Spiritual food. By taking this spiritual food, Krishna prasadam, we'll be able to conquer over. Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Somehow or other we have fallen into the ocean of material sense enjoyment. And of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But you, dear Krishna, are so very kind to us. You have given us this nice prasadam just to control the tongue. Now, let us take this prasadam to our full satisfaction and glorify their Lordship Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, and in love call for the help of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Okay, So that's the translation for that song. And the nice thing about Krishna Prasadam is you can take as much as you like, and you make more spiritual advancement as you take prasadam. Just by eating, you make spiritual advancement. Whereas if you eat food that's not prasadam, then you make material, well, not advancement really. The opposite of advancement. So, by taking Krishna Prasadam, we make spiritual advancement. And it's also good for the body and good for the mind. It's practical. And I know myself, I was quite a lazy person. I didn't know how to cook or anything. So when I found that such nice spiritual food would be available for the rest of my life, I thought, well, this is extremely practical. No more cooking. I just can eat. And these people already know how to cook so wonderfully. The music is good. And the nice thing is that it's good, clean music. And once you learn the words to the main song, you can sing it in a variety of ways. I was chanting on Harinam in the past, and one person came up who said, "Don't you know any other songs you could sing?" I said, "Okay, let me test you. Do you know the words to this song?" And he goes, "Hare Krishna, Rama Hare." No, I said, "You didn't learn it yet. First you learn this one right, then we'll sing some more songs."
Sampath Prabhu also has a question. His turn, I think.
Yeah, please.
He moved from there.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is told that at the time of death, if we remember Krishna, then we will directly reach him. So, my question is, like in Ajamila story, throughout his life he led a sinful life. Okay, but at the end, even by unknowingly he chanted Narayana and he was liberated. So if a person who has done all good job and he always chanting, but at the end, if in an accident if he dies, unfortunately is not able to chant Krishna's name, and another person is there who did all sinful activities, but at the end, if he chanted Krishna's name, he goes to he is liberated, but the first person is not. So how do we understand this?
First person is what?
First person means though he led very pious.
Can I
Yeah,
help you?
please.
He's saying, is it
I got
unfair?
it.
Is it unfair that a devotee don't chant and the sinful person gets somehow or other chant? So where is the fair
No,
law?
everyone gets what they
But
deserve.
my direct question is like at the end, like at the time of death, how do we remember Krishna's name? It's very difficult to.
Well, it's like a person who's waiting for the airplane. His flight is 10 hours away. He's at the airport. He's waiting and waiting. And in the course of waiting, he's doing shopping and he's doing internet. And he gets so absorbed in shopping, internet, eating at the bar, he misses the flight. And another person, the flight comes in just 15 minutes before, and somehow or other he gets on the plane. So you'd say that it was more fair that the one who'd been there for 10 hours, he should have gotten on the plane ahead of the other. But he wasn't paying attention. He got distracted. So he missed the flight. He went there with all good intentions, but he got distracted. So we have to make sure, ante narayana smriti, that we don't get distracted. You may have good intentions, that's good, but if you get distracted and you miss the point, you can be driving very nicely, very attentively for 90% of the drive, and then for the last 10% you become distracted, you go off the road. You have to be attentive.
My question was about controlling the senses. We were talking tonight about controlling the senses. And does it mean that you have to stop engaging the senses? Because the senses always want to be engaged. I don't think that any of the senses really want to stop being engaged in some sort of activity. So how do you control the senses?
Give the senses something spiritual that's actually more enjoyable than the material. Everything spiritual is more enjoyable than the material. So then your question, another person may ask, well, how is that? Why doesn't everyone take to Krishna consciousness then? Because if it's more enjoyable, because they haven't had the opportunity. If they get the opportunity, just like generally the music that we are raised with, that becomes our favorite type of music. The music that we're exposed to. You go to different parts of the world and they like different types of music, and generally it's the type of music that they were exposed to when they were young. So as we said, habit is also second nature. So if we engage in Krishna consciousness, even if out of habit, we'll become attached to it. If I know practically, if I know philosophically that it's good for me, and I engage in it, then after some time I'll enjoy it. Now, another point you may say, well, but if it's not enjoyable, that's just kind of like I'm trying to self-hypnotize myself to believe that I'm happier or that it's better. No, it is actually better. And when one is advanced, then you'll be able to see that, you'll be able to experience it. But when one is not advanced, you can't understand it.
So if somebody likes a particular style of music, then that music is spiritualized.
Why is it spiritualized?
Well, if Krishna becomes the subject,
Well, you're saying if you have a particular type of music that you like and then you add Krishna, does that music become spiritualized? Yes. Everything becomes spiritualized when you add Krishna. Music, art, computers. If you add Krishna to your computer, it becomes spiritualized. If you take Krishna out of your computer, it becomes material.
Maharaj, another question. In Krishna consciousness philosophy, you talk a lot about death, which is scary. You don't want to think about it. When you are happy, why think about or imagine about those things? Which is anyway bound to happen, it will happen in that instance. So why do we have to think about it?
Because that's like saying, I go to my house and does it matter whether the electricity is working or not? If it's not working, it's dark. Does it matter to you? Do you like going into a dark house? Do you like living in a dark house? So why would you like living in a dark world? In other words, death is coming. You don't know. It's just a big darkness for you. You don't know what it is. Wouldn't you rather have some electricity that turns on the lights so you know what happens after death? It's a long time to spend, eternity. And if you don't exist, which is what the materialists say, they say you don't exist after death. That's a long time. What if they're wrong? What if you do exist? They made a big blunder. They wasted their time and didn't find out anything. So they're going to, according to them, they're going to be non-existent. But let's say you do exist, and they didn't even take the opportunity to turn on the lights. So they're going to have to live eternally in darkness. Maybe not eternally, but a long time. So it makes sense to know what death is. It's something that's inevitable. If you don't know what it is, it's not very intelligent.
Little
Yes. Find out what it is. Maybe it's not as bad as everybody says it is. Maybe death is not a big problem. Maybe there's a way to conquer it. Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita that you can overcome death. You don't have to take birth again. Oh, that's interesting. You don't have to die again. You don't have to take. If you stop birth, then you stop death. So, knowledge. When one learns this knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, and his knowledge reveals everything, like the sun lights up everything in the daytime. This knowledge is, there's nothing so sublime as transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge is so sublime. It takes us out of darkness. It takes us out of fear and anxiety. Ignorance is not bliss. If someone gives you something to drink and in ignorance you drink it and it's poison, you die. So what good is ignorance? It can cause you harm. If you're driving down the road on the left side because you just came from England and you thought that you're supposed to drive on the left side and you get in an accident, ignorance is not bliss. Knowledge is bliss. So why not get transcendental knowledge? We're spending time getting so much other knowledge from material things. Why not get spiritual knowledge, transcendental knowledge? Solve the problems once and for all. Otherwise, we're just dealing with stopgap measures. I try to solve this problem, and then I try to solve that problem. But in one fell swoop, Krishna Conscious solves all the problems. Permanent. Intelligent person will try to solve all the problems. Why just stopgap? Okay?
Thank you.